Do you have any idea of how much of yourself you have given away online, or how much it's worth? Big Brother isn't the only one watching you here. It is the online menaces that go by. Little brothers, they are the companies that take your personal data, repackage it and sell it to the highest bidder. These little brothers are everywhere and are not answerable to anyone. For here, the greatest heist in history isn't about taking money, but it was about taking your information, and you agreed to all of it. In March 2018, the New York Times and The Guardian reported that 50 million Facebook profiles were gathered in a massive data controversy for Cambridge Analytica. The number was later extended to 87 million Facebook profiles. Christopher Wiley, a co-founder of the political data analytics firm, claimed that the data had been sold to Cambridge Analytica was used as pro-Trump material in the form of psychographic profiles of people. This has created uproar. People started questioning the privacy of their personal information and how it's being used.
If you notice, when Facebook changed their privacy policy and people have to click OK on it or they get something for free, they're willing to give up everything, really. So what people fail to realize is it's actually an advertising-based business model. That's the only way they can make money. People started to think, if I'm giving up my data, where does it end up? And now we're learning that it is being sold on to third parties, and often we never know the name of the company. So for the first time we've heard this company's name, Cambridge Analytica.
Information that you upload online or anywhere on the social media is not anymore your data. Once it's uploaded, it belongs to any company. So then it's extra responsibilities on the companies at how they're going to store it, secure it.
Talk about the security, we are talking about people who has, or hackers who has the professional skills, who has the sophisticated tool that can exploit the vulnerabilities, the weaknesses in your system or on your product to hack your data. But when we talk about data privacy, it means it describes how we can collect, store, and share data. There is no data privacy if there is no data security.
Actually, I rarely use social media, and if I do use it, I use it to post pictures on Instagram.
Posts that I put are usually like entertainment or mostly like what I'm doing with my day-to-day life.
Rarely post on social media, but I check my timeline from now and then.
For sharing memes or sending DMs from my friends, not actually sharing personal information.
We give our information because I think they needed to give us this kind of platform, this kind of application, so they have to take something to give us something.
So it's really scary to know that people that I don't know have this information and I'm not the one who gave it to them. But like, I gave it to Facebook, so I know that they have it. But the fact that they're selling it to other companies, it's like, what do they want it for?
So how did this all start? When did companies start making businesses with our information?
It's always been going on in marketing, and usually somebody gets something in return for it. So if you're on your Facebook or you're on your Instagram this morning, it was free. The app is free. You don't pay anything for it.
Which most people aren't aware of. But if you post something on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, you're waiving your rights and any rights to that material to Facebook or Twitter's use.
They are doing business based on your data. Try to understand your behavior, your way of thinking. Then these people or this company, they will, let's say, send your advertisement emails, send something about, let's say, your interest.
They're allowed to use that information for whatever purposes.
Because once you're on your Facebook account and you like a brand, you communicate, you share photos, you share messages, all of this is kept within Facebook. And now it's transpired they're selling it on to third parties.
A lot of companies will basically store their data on the cloud because what they want is the availability of the data. They want to access data anywhere in this world.
According to a study conducted by Dr. David Norton, a leading researcher on consumer behavior, the users that share their data online willingly are classified into 4 categories, consisting of high-comfort consumers who share information willingly for their own benefit, like shoppers and decision creators. Context-comfortable consumers who share their information willingly only if it generates better control and empowerment, such as social visibility. Reluctant consumers who willingly share data such as brand history, current location, and tool productivity. And finally, non-comfort consumers who do not feel comfortable about using social media. Seeing how users are categorized, this raises the question regarding the consequences of having your private data sold.
When you're subscribing to Facebook, you have to know that there's a privacy policy that nobody's read, right? It's 3 pages long and you see this is the privacy policy. When you accept that, you're already giving up your privacy and your data that it could possibly be sold on for third-party usage. Facebook and Google typically didn't do that, but now it's come out that they actually, Facebook have.
You know, there is one sentence from Facebook. They said, okay, we will do our best to secure your data, but we cannot guarantee this for you. So it means someone can hack them, and they know the sentence is there.
And they can build up a very detailed profile on who you are, what products and services you're interested in, what are your preferences, what are groups and societies and things that you follow, so they can build up a profile. And that's very advantageous to lots of companies and people who'd love to know that.
So as a user point of view, it's basically you need to be aware where your data is going. You know, you have to trust that company.
Countries in Europe and the US started to restrict the use of users' information that companies take advantage of by setting up laws that determine how information is taken and how it's used, such as General Data Privacy Regulations, or GDPR. In addition to laws that restrict information sharing that is misleading or harmful to other users. However, there is so much darkness that lurks on the web, ones that include identity theft and the illegal sale of personal data.
For example, and if I went up to the ethical hacking class or anywhere, I'm pretty sure within 5 minutes we could have your access to your bank details, and that's no exaggeration. I can find out your mother's maiden name, which is one of the most commonly asked questions, security questions. I can find out your first pet's name. I can find out your favourite football team, which is often asked password question. So it is already happening.
For example, there's one third-party company. They have account details on 200 million people in the US, and they have 1,500 pages on each individual person.
If there is no policy, written policy, in every let's say country, I mean, this problem will be, you know, bigger and bigger, and it will threaten the people's life also again.
As of 2017, Javelin Strategy and their research presented a large amount of frauds that were committed on the data breach. Those which are 2 to 6 years old have increased by nearly 400% over the last 4 years to $3.7 billion in 2016. With that in mind, what exactly does the future hold in terms of data privacy?
After so much identity theft, after multiple issues like the leaking of people's data and passwords, levels of trust in these applications might fall to an extent that people stop using them.
What needs to happen is we need to regulate how the information has been used, and that you're not okay with it. Mark Zuckerberg has about 200 fake accounts of his own name, people pretending to be Mark Zuckerberg on his own website, and he's not able to do much about it. So it's now putting more onus on social media companies to be more proactive in going after fake accounts, malpractice.
Awareness could come with the community itself, you know, we have to share.
They wouldn't stop giving information, but they would make sure that the amount of information that they give is very limited.
But it is possibly too late.
We have probably never realized the value of information that we give out, as we automatically opted into things that we do not realize that we are opting into, which soon will result in the loss of control over our personal information and identity, which is traded without us being part of the value chain. However, we do not expect the little brothers to stop watching us entirely, as we have become very dependent on their free services. Furthermore, the majority of people are still using Facebook, Instagram, and other social media networks without being actually charged. As the saying goes, if you are not paying, you become the product. Avoid being the product by being aware of the type of data you give out in order to not lose your personal identity. Because if your personal identity is taken away, what else is left?